something. They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my people. Yes, you said so. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slip. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember Yahanna's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback to bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
All right, let's clap it up. Shalom, DC, with the Israelite school. Yahba Shemel Shabrakatha to all the brothers. Yahal Shema Athan Shemel Shat to all the sisters. We're the school I.S.U.P.K, Israelite School, the Universal Practical Knowledge, out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. Since 1969, we've been teaching the truth of this Bible, and the truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the true Jews, and that reason why we don't know that is because the oppressor, the colonizer, is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He has stolen our identity, stolen everything from us, tried to steal our heritage, but we are, Most High is waking up our people one by one, slowly but surely, our people are waking up to the realization that we should be in rulership of this earth. You know what I'm saying? I just had to play that song because that song brings out the inner 66 Cadillac, you know what I'm saying? bring out that old soul in me. You know what I'm saying? That I feels that tune right there. That one goes hard. I mean, there's a bunch of other UPK music that goes hard as well. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know, you need to find out. Our nation is full. I mean, just look at the world. You know what I'm saying? Just look at the world and see how we influence the world in our sunken and our low state. Now, when we wake up and we realize who we are, we continue to influence the world and make music like this. Nobody can do what we do. They can try, they can imitate, they can try and duplicate, but they will never do exactly what we do. They need us to do what we do. You know what I'm saying? They need us to do what we do. But what I'm going to get into tonight, I've been thinking about, you know, it's been especially as of late, it's been weighing real heavy on me. And our oppressor has totally and utterly destroyed us on a molecular level. And the molecular level of so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American Indians are our family structure. You destroy a family structure, you know what I'm saying? You destroy the man, you destroy the family structure, you destroy the family structure, you destroy communities. You destroy communities. We don't have a nation no more. We don't have a nation anymore, and we're going to see exactly how our oppressor has done this to us. And I'm going to bring up some facts and some stats, and I'm not just going off of hyperbole and going off of what I think. I'm going off of what we can automatically we can see, you know, how they've destroyed us, and we just, you know, keep on going into it. But one thing about actually being self-aware, when I say being self-aware, once we actually know how that we're doing wrong and how we're doing wrong, we can correct ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the doctor and then the doctor not diagnose you with whatever illness or whatever ailment you have, and then you go ahead and go and get better. Most of the times when we find out what's wrong with us after we've been to the doctor, the thing to get it back in order hurts. You know what I'm saying? We have to go through some type of pain in order to get better. You know what I'm saying? You break a bone, you break a leg or something like that. That stuff hurts. When you go to the doctors to get it corrected, just to put it back into place, it hurts even more. You know what I'm saying? You going through that. I'll get you 1 second. We go through that. It hurts even more. But once it gets put in place, it gets immobilized until it actually heals, right? That's part of that process of us. No sweat. Part of that process of us is just hearing who we are. And a lot of times when we heard who we are was in a very disrespectful manner. We got told that we're disgusting, nasty, vile people because of the things that we do. And it's not of us. We learn that crap from our oppressor. You know what I'm saying? And once that jarring realization has awoken us to said things, then we come in class and we get fixed and we're immobilized. But once that cast comes on, I don't know if anybody's ever had a broken bone, but once they pop that bone back into place and once they cast it up and then they take that cast off, you have to go through rehab. And that sometimes, depending on whatever rehab you have to go through, that hurts even more. You know what I'm saying? That hurts even more. But once you go through that, a lot of times you come off even stronger than before. Once you rehab that broken bone or you've gone through that thing that has broken you down. You know what I'm saying? You had something?
Yeah, Counselor Slakia, that broken bone story, I can really relate to. It made me stronger too. The end of 6th grade, I'm out back. I'm playing I had rollerblades. We playing tag. Rollerblades and bikes. We playing tag. On the sidewalk, there's this tree that its root grew underneath the sidewalk,
right,
which created a little ramp. Like I ain't gonna say his name, but the dude I was close to back in the day, you know, he got his bike on. He balling, but you know, I'm balling. I got the rollerblades on. He hopped over the little tree-made ramp in the sidewalk. I didn't pay attention to it. I hit it. I flew forward. I broke my left arm right here, it like a little bit up from my wrist. I didn't even feel anything, but I panicked because my arm looked different. You know, it bent in. So it's like I had so much adrenaline, I didn't even feel anything. And I'm 12. You know, I walk up the street like, grandma. Like I broke my arm. But I didn't even feel nothing. She took me to the hospital. They drugged me up. She said I went to sleep, right? They broke it. I screamed. They put it back. I screamed. Like with the drug system, with the drugs all in my system. And then they cast me up. I woke up. I came home, you know, that same day, you know, still drugged up, you know, hospital drugged up. Went to sleep. Everything was okay. Woke up in absolute pain. Everything from my pinky finger all the way up to my elbow felt like it was just on fire.
I understand. And when we going through some of these issues and ailments, it is absolutely painful. It is absolutely painful. And this class is about to be absolutely painful for some of your ears. I am not going to hold back. Now, be forewarned. Everything that I'm saying, just because I say it in a certain way, sometimes for some people, you absolutely need to hear it in that way. You understand what I'm saying? You absolutely need to hear it in that way in order for you to correct yourself. And how do you correct yourself? Keep coming to class. Moreover, get your tail in the actual seat of being here or whatever closest city that you are in. Actually be there to get real correction. You know what I'm saying? What I'm going to say is going to hurt some feelings. And I pray it hurts your feelings. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I need our people to be corrected. That's the reason why I'm sitting in this seat right here. Is to have guidance, to lead our people out of the disgusting life. Why? How do I know? Because I was in that disgusting life that I'm about to talk about. I was in that life. And until someone had to break me down and in order to build me up. Why? Because everything that I've been taught by society, and everything that society has taught me was absolutely wrong. Everything was wrong. I don't give a damn if they say it is the morning when the sun is up. It was wrong. Why? Because society is absolutely wrong. Everything that I've learned was a bastardization or just outright lie when it comes to the scripture. When I came in here, I learned that the sun and actually, according to the Bible, when the sun comes up, that's not the beginning of a new day. You know what I'm saying? This is when the sun goes down. That's the beginning of a new day, according to the Bible. How many of you knew that? There's a lot of stuff that has been twisted. No, put that in the camp equipment. The water. There's a lot of stuff that has been twisted and misconstrued that we think was right, but once we actually come into the truth, is absolutely totally wrong. We're going to get into a few of this. What is the first article? What is the first article we have? Real quick. If anybody has any questions, any comments, or any concerns, type it in the chat. We're going to answer all questions. Any questions? If I'm going through something and you don't understand what I'm saying, type your question in the chat. I'll get to your question. If you don't like what I'm saying, type that into the chat. We may address it, we may not. But anything you have to say, type it in the chat. This is not, some white man's church where they just spew rhetoric at you and you can't rebut. You can't challenge what they're saying. This is a school. This is an Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge. If I'm saying something and you don't understand what I'm saying, type your question in the chat and we're going to address it. That's one. Number two, I want to give a shout out to Trooper Dawada out of DC. You know what I'm saying? For bringing some fine spirits up in here. This to you, Trooper Dawada. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. This as General Muhammad would say is good in thy sight. All right. Now let's get to, man, that's some good stuff right there. Let's get to that first. What was the first article?
Colonel Khan, the National Low Income Housing Coalition.
All right, okay, so yes. How did they break up? You know, how were they destroying us? There's many ways that the oppressor has been destroying us from the beginning of time. Since the beginning, they have conceived, you know, many ways of destroying us. And here's one of the latest ways that they have destroyed us in particular, and we're going to get into it. How the rules somehow don't apply to them. They make up these rules to destroy us and call it, you know, assistance, public assistance, but then those same rules don't apply to another group of people. What do I mean? We're going to get into it. And what I'm talking about right here in particular is how they are destroying the black family. So much so that, you know, when it is in its inception, they were just basically paying the women to get rid of the man in the house. That's essentially what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you need a public assistance, if you can't afford to have basic needs to live, a roof over your head, food on your table, clothes on your back, if you don't have enough assistance to, if you don't have the means to do that, then we can help you. All you have to do is get rid of that man in your house. You know what? Do you know how destructive that is to get rid of the protected? Matter of fact, get me one cannot bind a strong man. You know what that is? Hold on 1 second. Where is that? Get me. I need that. One cannot spoil a man's house unless you first bind a strong man. I think so. Hold on. Might be in Matthew. Mark 37:29. Let's get it.
Come on. Mark chapter 3, verse 27.
Hold on. 1 second. Salakia. You said Mark 3?
Concept.
All right, Mark 3. I'm going to get there with you. Salakia. And this is how the oppressor has destroyed us. 3:29, you said?
3:27.
27.
Through 29.
All right, okay.
27.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, Kanika said there should be no discussion or confusion on how the white man / woman is a devil. He or she knows he's a devil himself. He or she will tell you himself that he is the devil. Proof is in the pudding, and it's all over the world announcing that he or she is the devil. Most High in Christ. Let's give the sister a hand. The sister knows exactly what she's talking about. On that same note, I just seen a video of this oppressor teaching black, his oppressor's teacher. He was teaching black students, and he just basically flat out said, I believe that the white race is superior. You seen that?
I didn't even want to look at it.
He said, I believe that, he said it like, as a matter of fact, I believe that the white race is superior. And deep down in everybody's hearts, they know that the white race is superior. No matter what you say, it's true. I know it to be true. I'm just saying it, that it's true. And we have this man is actually telling us, is actually teaching our people, our kids. Now, that is the product of Martin Luther King. I want to call him something else, but I'm not. That's a product of Martin Luther King's wet dream, because he wanted to lie with a white woman. Now we are quote unquote integrated, and their people are teaching our kids that they are superior. And it was a camera in his face. It was a cell phone in his face. He knew the cell phone was in his face. He didn't give a goddamn. He didn't care. He believes that. He believes it to be true, and he doesn't care who hears it. Why? Because he's comfortable in his kingdom. This is his kingdom. He can teach our kids that he is superior. And you know what? That goes hand in hand with this scripture. Read what you got.
Come. Slocky, sir, if I may.
Yeah, what's up?
He's comfortable because he knows he has a nation to back him up.
Exactly. This is his kingdom. We are his slaves. We are learning from the slave master. Ain't nothing changed. There will be a change when Christ comes back. There will be a change, but until then, this is his kingdom. And only way that we can combat what the hell this teacher is saying is by following this scripture right here. Read the scripture.
Come. Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house.
No man can enter into a strong man's house. That means you can't kick in the door waving a 4-4 and just do whatever the hell you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You just can't do it. Why? Because there's a man standing behind that door. And women, if you think that you have a man and you tell him everything that if you tell him what to do and you over him and he does everything that you tell him to do, that is not the man that you want beside you or should be in front of you when someone kicks in that door. Or when your kid comes home and shows you the video of this white teacher, of their teacher, their oppressive teacher, telling your kids that he is superior. Because he ain't gonna do a damn thing. He may bark and he ain't gonna do nothing. He ain't gonna do nothing. So if you that type of woman that is over your man, first thing you need to do is get your man in here. If he's black, brown, or Native American, so-called black, so-called Hispanic, so-called Native American, you need to get him in here. And we need to teach him how to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And then you need to sit on the other side of him and then learn how to be a woman.
Right.
Keep reading.
Come. And spoil his goods.
And spoil his goods. What is his goods? Well, first of all, what does spoil mean?
Spoil means to destroy.
Spoil means to destroy, to take. You ever heard of spoils of war? That means whenever someone goes to war and the winning party, the winning side, faction, they go ahead and spoil the losing side. What does that mean? That means they go ahead and take whatever the hell they want. They take everything that is of value and leave them with nothing, little to nothing or nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? That's what spoil means. Spoils of war. That's what it means. So you can't come into a strong man's house and take his goods. Now, what is his goods? His goods is his woman. And I'm not talking about, a PS5. I'm not talking about that fancy TV, that big screen TV you got. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the nice surround sound system that you got. I'm not talking about that. That can all be replaced. I'm talking about your rear. I'm talking about your woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about your children. I'm talking about your legacy. I'm talking about and know this. The oppressor has already kicked in all of our doors and has spoiled all of us because he bound us first. You understand what I'm saying? If your woman comes to you and tells you that I'm a modern woman and I can do what I want to do, happy wife, happy life. If your kid tells you, hey, I want to celebrate Christmas, take me to around the neighborhood to go trick-or-treating, your house has already been spoiled. You have already been bound. Why? Because if your woman, if you tell your woman, no, we ain't going trick-or-treating. If you tell your woman, we not buying no Christmas trees coming in this house. If you tell your woman we ain't doing Christmas, if you tell your woman, hey, I don't like that fast ass girl that you hanging out with, who's going on Snapchat and Instagram and all this stuff, showing her hind parts to everybody. I don't like that she's a city girl and whatnot. Who's boasting she don't cook, she don't clean, but let me tell you how. Nah. I don't like you hanging out with her. Every time she comes around, she got a shirt or a dress on that goes right above her nipples, and has a skirt or some shorts on that goes right to the crack of her hind parts. I don't like you hanging out with her. Why? Because if you keep hanging out with her, you're going to want to do the same things that she's doing. And I'm not having that in here. Now, if you tell your woman that and she tells you, well, then you just got to go because I'm going to do me. Life too short. You know what I'm saying? I can do bad all by myself. And what you're telling me is doing bad. What? Me telling you stop dressing like a hua is bad? Really? Nah, that's correction. That is absolute correction. And if you fold into that, you have been bound. Your hands are tied. But I can teach you how to untie your hands. I can teach you how to be unbounded. Get in class. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
Except he will first bind the strong man.
Except he will first bind the strong man. Except he will first bind the strong man. How is he binding him? By telling that woman, listen to the Christian pastor. Why? Because what did the Christian pastor say? If he don't make six figures, if he don't spoil you with lavish gifts and vacations and all that stuff, if he doesn't buy you stuff for your birthday or Christmas that's under your quote unquote standard, this kills me. You hear a woman say, I got to eat at such and such restaurant. What's the fancy restaurant? Ruth Chris. You know what I'm saying? If anybody ever been to Ruth Chris,
what is a Ruth Chris?
It's a name, whatever.
Man.
Right? So if anybody has been to Ruth Chris, you spending on the low end about $100 a plate. You times that by 2, that's $200. That's on the low end. You add some drinks in there, you can easily go over $300. You know what I'm saying? Now, if a woman say, hey, you need to take me here, and she don't go there by her damn self, who in the hell, how is that your standard? If a woman tells you, I need a Birkin bag, a bag that costs, thousands of dollars, a Louis Vuitton bag, costs thousands of dollars. You need to put Prada on her feet, costs hundreds of dollars and whatnot. Buy some shades, some Prada shades or whatever. It costs a few $100s to a few $1,000. And she ain't put that on herself. How is that her standard? How is that her standard? Now let's just say you do that for her. Let's just say you do that for her, right? And then she goes ahead and say, well, you need to continue to do this. And then you put some boundaries on her because women need boundaries. So do men. And we're going to get to that in a second. But if you put some boundaries on her and say, I don't like you hanging out with this fast ass woman over here, you need to cover yourself up. She's gonna tell you, well, if I do that, then you ain't the man for me. Well, if that ain't the man for you, you're gonna go right back into them slums. if he were to take you out and put you and do all this other stuff, you mean to tell me you want to go back to wherever the hell you came from? Because the man who put you in all this stuff is telling you to cover your behind, telling you stop hanging out around with people who do not have your best interest in mind. Why? Because they are destroying themselves and they don't even know that they're destroying themselves. But this man is that hedge to protect you from your own self, and you're gonna go against him for that. Now add in all of that, and you have kids. You have kids together. Now you ain't just destroying the marriage, but you're destroying the household. You're destroying the kids that see what's going on, and they're going to repeat what they see. You can tell them 1,000 times, but if they see you doing something else, they're going to do that thing that they seen. Keep going.
Come. Except he will bind the strong man first, and then he will spoil
Read it
his
from
house.
the top. Read it from the top.
Come. Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods.
No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods and have his women and his children listen to somebody else over what you're telling them. After you are the head of that household, and somebody who is not even involved in your household is telling your women, telling your children what to do, and they follow them. Only way that they can actually do that is by what?
Spoil his goods. Except he will first bind the strong man.
He will first what?
Bind the strong man.
He's gonna tell that woman, hey, if he doesn't listen to you, if he doesn't tell you, if he doesn't do what you want him to do, if he doesn't put your quote unquote happiness above everything else, then what you're gonna do is you're gonna start withholding things. You're gonna start withholding sex. You're gonna start withholding cooking. You're gonna start withholding cleaning. How many times has a woman got mad at they husband, they man, and then they withheld sex, or they got mad and they cooked for themselves and cooked for the kids and didn't cook for you, or did everybody's in the house laundry and didn't do your laundry? You know what I'm saying? But they normally do this stuff. And then they get upset at you, and then they do everything for everybody else in the house except for you. Now, who put that in their head that's tolerable? You ain't gonna tolerate that. Why? Because in today's society, I'm just talking about today's society. In today's society, a man was supposed to protect and provide, right? A woman wants a protector and a woman wants a provider. If a man can provide, he's a man. But there's so much more to being in a marriage than just that. I'm not saying that's not it, but it's so much more than to be just that. Now, if a man gets angry or upset at the woman and does what the woman does, which they shouldn't. Now, what is to say? You know what? You pissed me off. Whatever you did, whatever I told you to do, you didn't do. Whatever I told you to do, or whatever you didn't do, whatever. Now I'm not going to pay your car note. I got the money, but I ain't going to pay your car note. How about I ain't going to pay the mortgage or the rent? I ain't going to pay the rent. I ain't going to pay the lights because you done upset me. That sounds kind of messed up, right? Now you messing up the whole family, but you messing up the whole family dynamic. Now you got to pay all these late fees. You gotta the kids can't get to school and whatnot. Kids can't eat. We might be put out. You think you ain't messing up the whole family dynamic? Now this man gotta get up at the butt crack of dawn because he works 2 and 3 slaveries to get to work, but he ain't got his uniform or his clothes clean. Now he has to figure out a way to do this, or now he going to work hungry because he ain't eat the night before, or you ain't cook him you ain't fix his lunch or something like that. That all, now he going to work hungry and angry with some stinky clothes, and he's in a certain type of mood, and he may do something that is not in his character. Now he laid off. Now he fired because you upset that he didn't put down the toilet seat, or he didn't put his clothes in the hamper. Some frivolous stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're gonna get to some major stuff also, but some frivolous stuff because you didn't want to, because he didn't do that. Really? Now y'all all out in the streets. They say 2 wrongs don't make a right, but goddamn, how about you just honor your oath? There is a woman's place and there is a man's place. If a man says, I'm not going to do these things because a woman is not going to do these things, first of all, the man is a weak man. If you have a dragon, you need to learn how to slay that dragon. If you are the dragon, you need to be like that Shrek dragon who bowed down to Donkey. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what you need to do. If you don't know how to do it, get your hind parts in these seats, and then we're going to teach you how to do it. We're going to teach you how to be an obedient woman an obedient wife to your husband. I don't think that goes over people's heads. Be obedient wife to your husband. You can be obedient because a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, and it may be that one time that it doesn't count or it doesn't happen, but 9 times out of 10, you are an obedient employee. You do exactly what that goddamn slave master tells you to do. But the man who's protecting you, the man who is guiding you, the man who is providing for you, the man who is leading you in the right direction, he got to do every goddamn thing for himself. He asks you for a cup of coffee or a hot meal when he comes home. Nigga, you got 2 hands. Do it yourself. You tell your boss that? You tell the slave master that? Slave master come to you and say, hey, I need these quarterlies, or I need these, this report ran, or I need you to do this or that, or I need you to go over here and do this and that. What are you going to say? Yes, sir. Okay, I'll do it. Ain't no talk back. Ain't no, well, why can't, what so-and-so do? I'm doing all this. I'm doing all the work. Why don't you help out and do all this stuff? You ain't doing none of that. None of that is happening when it comes to the boss. But when you get home and the father of your children is sitting there asking for something, he's not telling you because the boss has told you to do something. He's asking you for something, and you got this turkey neck all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? You doing all this. You're doing all this. You sassing and you coming up with 100,000 excuses and whatnot on why not to do the thing that the father of your children is asking you to do. And not only are you doing that, but you're doing that in front of the kids. That is how the strong man has been bound, and his goods are spoiled. His rib is his woman is his goods. His children is his goods, and they are spoiled. They have been taken captive by this crazy mentality that they can do any goddamn thing that they want to. You got something?
Come on, so sloppy. As a nation, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the black man has been doing his best trying to protect his woman that has been so exposed, like to society, nakedness and the drugs and everything. There's all types of stuff that she's been put out into the world with. And then in the household, she has turned it to the dragon that she's following instead of being our peace.
Exactly. Why don't you just be the peace? And you know what? I know everybody's heard this saying before. You can catch more. What is it? You can get more bees with honey. Right. You know what I'm saying? You can get more bees with honey. That means if you are actually feminine, like the women in the Bible, if you are real feminine, there is nothing that a man wouldn't do for you. Like, honestly and truly, if you're playing your role, and a lot of women don't even like that saying. Just know your role. If you know your role and do what you're supposed to be doing according to the Bible, there is absolutely nothing the man wouldn't do. Absolutely. A lot of time it's like a flex for a man to especially to it's a flex for a man to brag about his woman. Hey, my woman do this. You know what I'm saying? I don't even got to worry about that. A lot of times, brothers talk to, each other, be like, hey, man, this woman is doing this and that. You know what I'm saying? Or they see something like that and be like, hey, what? What's going on with that? I ain't got to worry about that. When I get home, I got this, I got that, I got this. And you know what? When the woman is doing that, the man is bending over backwards to make her job easier, make her job more comfortable, and to put stuff, to put it in a way where she goes to her friends and she bragging about her. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, my man just, he just. This is not a Birkin, but it's a high quality, purse or something. Or we about to go to the to some trip somewhere I never even heard of, or I never even thought about. or we're about to do something that I wanted to do. And I just made mention of it. I didn't even ask him that we want to do, but he surprised me that we're doing this. Why? Because why wouldn't you want to spoil the other term? Why wouldn't you want to treat your woman when she's doing such an absolute great job at the things that she's supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't a man want to bend over backwards to please to make his woman happy when she is doing the absolute best? But a lot of times, we got men coming home from a hard day's work and they sit in the parking lot for 20, 30 minutes, or they, or drive down the street and sit down the street for a period of time, knowing they're gonna have to put up with some bull BS when they get up in the house, or just work a bunch of overtime, or pick up another job when really they don't need it, just so they don't have to go home and listen to this jibber jabber. Woman, stop being a more a combative element and be his peace. I bet you he's gonna fight to get home more. And or I seen a story on this. Where this dude said he was working a bunch of jobs, or he's working extra overtime so that he can buy a certain thing for Christmas. He wanted to spoil his woman for Christmas, right? And then his woman came and told him like, hey, I was talking to some male friend, and one thing led to another. You wasn't here. I was confiding in him, telling him you wasn't here. You was working all these hours and all this stuff. So one thing led to another. We had sex. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And he was like, well, reason why I wasn't there is because I was working a lot of job. I was working a lot of overtime because you were actually pleasing me. And I wanted to show my appreciation. So I wanted to spoil you with all these gifts for Christmas when it didn't have to be for Christmas. You know what I'm saying? F Christmas. It didn't have to be for Christmas. He just bought it because it was it was just time. Right? But he said, the reason why I was working all these hours is because I wanted to spoil you. The only way I could spoil you, in my mind, was to do these things. When in her mind, all she wanted to do was have his time. That's another thing, is lack of communication. If use modern term, love language is spending time, when he thought her love language was just buying her stuff. Some women like that, when some women actually want your time. But she did an absolute horrendous job. An absolute horrendous thing that she did was went out and confided in some other dude. Women, let me just tell you this real quick. I'm gonna get to you. That so-called best friend that you have, that's a man, whether he's gay or not, he's just being your friend because he want to get your tail. And the second that you tell him your problems with your man, he's going to use that as an opportunity to get them draws. How did what's the name? Tommy say? GTD. That's all he's waiting on. He's waiting to GTD. He wanted to get them draws. That is it. GT. If you old enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the reference. You had something?
That situation was a terrible assumption on her part because she made an ass out of herself and herself. If that was real, because I think it was a story. I kind of saw it like
it doesn't matter. You know that stuff happens in real life.
Yeah, real life. It does.
I know people that stuff like that has happened to. I know people that exact situation has happened to.
So that's why courting is a great thing. Before you get into a relationship, find out what that person is about. Don't just throw your body to that person. Get into the I.S.U.P.K. Learn that person. Learn that person before, because sex is marriage. You're going to deal with that person for the rest of your life.
That's right.
And then once you have sex with that person, you're supposed to stay with that person for the rest of your life, because divorce is a sin. They broke it all. That's a whole different class. But yeah, both of them should have took the time and learned each other. And then she would have known that he would probably shower her with gifts, and she would appreciate it. And he would know that all she wanted was his time, and they both would appreciate the situation and learn from each other, and probably would have had a good relationship.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And you know what? That society has bounded him, because the reason why I say society has bounded him, because he most likely knew. I think he did know that dude. He did know that dude. And if he was not bound, he would have been like, nah, you ain't got nothing to talk to him about. Now, that may sound toxic. This may sound toxic. Nah, nigga, if you want a male friend, I'm your male friend. You come to talk to me about everything. You ain't got no other male friend. You want to talk, only male friend I would probably allow is you talk to your father. That's it. Anybody else? Nah. You talk to me. You talk to me. And if you want some counseling, we can go to the heads. You know what I'm saying? We can go to the generals. We can go to the camp leader, and then we can talk about it. But no, you ain't got no goddamn male friends. And he knew about this quote unquote male friend, and he allowed it. Why? Because he was bound by society. Why? Because if he would have said that, he would have been being accused of being toxic masculinity. He would have been accused of being a misogynist. He would have been accused of all these things to feminize his energy, himself. And he allowed it because he didn't want to be canceled by his woman. So he allowed his woman to go ahead and talk to another man, and you see the results of it. You see the results of it. You know what I'm saying? This happens every goddamn day. This happens every day. If you woman, I'm trying to tell you, that nigga that you talking to only wants to get in your drawers. If you call him tonight and say, my man is being an asshole, this, and that, slack you for my language. If my man's doing this, and that, he gonna be like, come on over. I got something for you. Don't worry about him. He's this, and that. I got that Casamigos, that you like. I got, I got that weed. You can hit that weed real quick, and we just talk about it. You coming over there on false pretense, he's gonna Tommy you. He's gonna GTD. He gonna get that's all he wants. That is all he wants. That is all he wants. Right? I'm telling you right now. So if you got that some dude that you confiding in, you need to cut that dude loose. And that work husband BS, man, what's your nigga? Man, what? You had something?
Concert. Yeah.
Man, we can go on days and days and days with this.
Damn right.
Salakia, what you had? After that, we're gonna get this article.
Concert. Work husband ain't having it. And it's the white man fault and the Jewish man fault to make so-called to make the black man think that he has to buy our women's affection in the first place. If that brother was secure with himself, if he knew where his worth is in his Bible, he wouldn't have to buy something for her. He would know that his presence would be enough for her. He did that for her to make her feel better, to make her feel good. Well, to give her a present. To give her a present. He just wanted to do that. To win her affection, it seems like, because she was getting the time from another dude, but he was trying to buy something. If he would have realized that he was the most precious thing that God put up on this earth, I don't think none of that would happen.
But you know what? I can't fault the brother for doing that. Why? Because I mean, I'm not saying that society is telling him that, but that was his way of showing his appreciation for her. And there's nothing wrong with a man showing his appreciation for her, whether it's taking her to a park and having a picnic with her, spending his time, or him going out spending his money. You know what I'm saying? The way he wanted to show his appreciation for her was his way of showing his appreciation for her. So I'm not faulting that brother for that. I'm faulting the woman. In this instance, it's a man, because it all boils down to the man. All boils down to the man. If you don't put these boundaries and these hedges over them, just like boundaries and hedges are over us, there's certain things I can't do because I have to answer to someone else for it. You know what I'm saying? There's things that I can absolutely not do because I'm gonna get a call. real quick story. I posted something on. I even post something. I went on someone else's post and like left a comment there. Not even 5 minutes later, I got a call. Not even 5 minutes later, I got a call, and as soon as I got the call, he was like, he said something, and as soon as he said, like his greeting, I knew what it was. I knew what it was. I had to answer for what I just did. You know what I'm saying? So there are certain boundaries that are put on us by men that are over us that knows better. You know what I'm saying? That knows that if we do that thing, we're gonna go astray. We're just gonna keep pushing the hedges over it further and further, and then we're just gonna do something totally, purple or totally Christian. You know what I'm saying? So there are hedges. There's hedges over me. Even though I'm telling you to put a hedge over your woman, there's hedges over me. I put hedges over my kid. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm telling you that there should be hedges over the people that are under you, and yes, there are people under you. How do I know this? Get me First Corinthians 11:3. Give me 1 Corinthians 11:3. And this is how the way society is supposed to be according to the Bible. And when I say society, I'm strictly talking about, I don't give a goddamn about anybody else. I'm talking about so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. You know what I'm saying? This is how our structure is supposed to be. Now, it's supposed to be hedges over me. It's supposed to be hedges over my woman. It's supposed to be hedges over my kids. Who puts these hedges in place? Is someone over someone in order to put a hedge. There's nothing. There's not going to be a hedge put on me by somebody under me. Right. There's only going to be a hedge put on me by someone over me. And I'm telling you, there are hedges over me. Why? Because there's someone over me telling me that I need to go here. I need to say this. I need to dress like this. I need to act like this. So when your man is telling you that, especially in I.S.U.P.K, men in here, they have someone over them telling them what to do. And those men are saying, Khan, I don't want Khan. You know what I'm saying? They're saying, sir, yes, sir. And they're obeying those orders. And that's exactly what it is. Not a suggestion. Sometimes it's a suggestion. But most of the times is, hey, I'm telling you to do this, and you better adhere to it. Or you're going to suffer the consequences. So when a husband tells his wife that these are the hedges, you need to abide by it, especially the men up here in I.S.U.P.K, it's because those hedges have been put above that man. It's not just a one-way street. It's not just a, crap rolls downhill. There's a reason why he's telling you to do something like this. There's a reason why he's telling you. Why? Because you are his goods. He doesn't want anybody spoiling it. He doesn't want anybody. I seen another post where a man said that he wants total access to his woman. He doesn't, and if anybody has access, that the type of access that he has, that someone else has, he doesn't want you. That may you may not understand what I'm saying. Go back to the husband, wife, and the worker boss relationship. If the boss tells you, hey, I want you to when I come in at 8:15 every morning, I want a hot cup of coffee on my desk, and I want 1 cream and 2 sugars in it, and I want the report for that the previous day. I want that on my desk by the time I get there. And you say, sir, yes, sir. And a man tells you, when your husband comes home, he says, I want a hot plate, and I want some strong with a certain type of strong with some ice, and either the meal got to be ready or is about to be ready by the time I come home. And you say, no, nigga, you're gonna have to. I got other stuff to do. You got to come home and do all this stuff. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking. You can tell this oppressor 9 times out of 10 is an oppressor. If he has access to you like that and you submit willingly, but this man who's taking care of you, Is fathering your children leading you in that household, and you tell him that you don't want to do that, or you're not telling him what you're not going to do? That is absolutely out of order. Absolutely out of order. Can I at least, I'm fathering your kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm the reason why you living in this house. I'm the reason why your kids are obedient and not running a goddamn muck. I'm the reason why no nigga is going to kick in this door because he knows he is going to be put to death. I'm the reason for that. And all this nigga is doing is paying you $16 an hour. You know what I'm saying? That's all this dude is doing. But I'm doing all this extra stuff, and you give him more access to you than I do? Nah, that ain't gonna fly. Read the scripture, Baba Kashaw.
God. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
That the head of every man is who?
Is Christ.
So there is a head above us. We have to answer to somebody. And right now, Christ is not walking the earth, but there's somebody he put in charge. And that man he put in charge is Commanding General Yahanna.
That's right.
And in every city, he put someone else in charge. And in Washington, D.C., that man is Captain Mashak.
That's right.
And he is the head of me. He tells me what I need to do and how I need to do it, when I need to do it. He doesn't always tell me why I need to do it. And that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. If he says I need to do something, I just need to do it. That's it. No matter what, I just need to do it. It needs to get done. And you know what I tell him? I don't want to come. Exactly. That's what I tell him. Now, next is what? Keep going.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the what?
Is the man.
Is the what?
Is the man.
Now, you may not like this, but the head of the woman is the man. Woman, if you are married, that man that you're laying with is your head. If you are not married, if you have never laid with a man, let me make that crystal clear. If you have never laid with a man, your husband is your father is the head of you. There's a reason why in marriage ceremonies in the West, I don't know what the hell they do over there in the East, but I know in the West, most of us are in the quote unquote West. The father, go ahead. The father gives away the woman to the husband. He's saying, I'm relinquishing control of this woman, and I'm placing you under her authority. I'm placing her under your authority. I didn't say no. I'm placing you under her authority. That's the symbolism of the father giving away the daughter. I'm placing her under your authority. Read that part again.
Come.
We ain't gonna get done with this. Slakia. Read that part again.
Come. Verse 3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. So if you got a husband and if you laying with a man, that man that you laying with is your head. And if you didn't like what he has put down, or you didn't like how the way he leads, or if there's some fundamental thing that you dislike, you shouldn't have laid with him. You shouldn't have had submit. Why? Because sex is between a man and a woman. Someone is submitting. You know what I'm saying? Someone is submitting, and the right way is a man submitting to the woman. Is a woman submitting to the man? That's the right way. So if you're going to submit yourself, give your body to someone, and you don't like the way he leads, how the way he's for whatever reason, you should not submit yourself because he got a fancy car. You should not submit yourself because you like the way his ways flow. You should not submit yourself because he got the fly kicks on. He got the L kicks. Or how the way his fit is. You should not submit yourself because, for whatever vain, stupid reason. What you should submit to is someone who has a vision, a plan for his household. You know what I'm saying? Someone who submits to righteous authority. There's a difference. There's someone who submits to righteous authority. Someone who can absolutely lead his household. And if he does not know how to lead his household, he knows where the proper way, where place to go in order to find out how to lead his household. You understand? There is a difference. There was a person who's out there who may be leading their household straight into Christianity, straight into the ground, straight into somewhere that you don't want nowhere, that you don't want to be nowhere near. And then there's a man who may be fumbling and bumbling, but he goes and gets correction. He goes out and applies it. It may be fumbling, mumbling a little around, then goes and get more correction. Do you know how the way IBM missiles work? Intercontinental ballistics missiles work. Do you know how they work?
I think so, sir. Slide it.
I just gave it away. If you don't know, I just gave it away.
Yeah, concert. They have a lot of sensors around them and a lot of propulsion around them. So they have their marker, but every time it moves, it goes back to that target by projecting itself back into that direction. Say like if it goes over to the left a little bit, it has the propulsion on the left side to push it back to the right. It corrects itself.
That's what I'm
every
looking for.
millisecond.
That's what I'm saying.
Just so it could hit that target.
That's what it does. That's what it does. If anybody knows how to shoot rifles in particular, the further away you get, you have to account for wind. You have to account for trajectory. You have to account for the distance, the altitude, the weather. You have to account for all this stuff because it's not like you're just in an empty vacuum. If you just shoot it just keeps going straight like that. The wind affects it. The distance affects it. It drops. It raises. It does a whole lot of different stuff. With missiles, ICBM missiles, it goes from one continent to another. The Earth moves. It goes through freaking a bunch of wind. It goes through a bunch of trajectories. What ICBM missiles do is it auto corrects every so often and corrects it so frequently that if it were to just go without the corrections, it can land 300 miles to 1,000 miles away from its target. With its auto correction, it'll auto correct and it'll keep propulsing at the same rate as where it's going until it gets to exact target. Exactly. The exact longitude and latitude coordinates that it was programmed to go, that's exactly where it's going to go. Now, if you get with a man that's like that, you are in the right hands. You are in the right hands. If you're not with a man like that, that does not mean you leave that man and get with another man. No, that is absolutely wicked and disgusting. What you should do is keep watching the videos and ask your man to come on into the to sit in class so that he can become that ICBM missile.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That so that he can become that. If you're with a man that is not like that, no sweat. Come to class yourself. Come to class yourself. Fix yourself. And what did I say earlier? If a woman is playing her role, doing what she's supposed to be doing, he is going to then bend over backwards to honor her. He's going to be like, how in the hell? I ain't got to worry about nothing. I ain't got to worry about the house being kept. I ain't got to worry about her going out spending money frivolously. I ain't got to worry about the next nigga trying to holler at my woman. And that's all because she started listening to this class and she started wearing head wraps. She started wearing long dresses and covering up her body. She stopped, putting all this stuff on Instagram and all that stuff. Why is she doing that? Let me go listen to this class and see what the hell they're talking about. Let me see what they're doing. Sooner or later, according to the scripture, that man most likely will come into the school. He will get corrected because of your correction, sis. That is the way to get a man like now. If you don't have a man like that, if you don't have a man at all, and you want a man like that, get in class and learn how to be a proper cis, a proper woman. Why? Because I wasn't a proper man until I actually got in class and understood what it is to be a husband. You know what I'm saying? I got class after class, counsel after counsel, you know what I'm saying? Correction after correction, checking after checking, until I actually understood what it is to be a man, what it is to be a man of the Most High, what it is to be a righteous husband. You know what I'm saying? Until the point where, like, goddamn, why are you even worthy enough for me to consider you to be called by my name? You know what I'm saying? What in the hell makes you worthy to be called by my name? Now you got to prove yourself. Now the tables have turned. The tables, because I know my role. I know what I have to do. I know what I must do. You know what I'm saying? I my obligation and my duty, it is to be a husband. And if I'm going to do that, who are you to be called by my name? You're gonna have to prove yourself. And every UPK man thinks that same way that I just said. Who the hell are you? Who are you? If you want to be called by my name, you're gonna have to prove to me that you are worthy to be called by my name. Is there any more in that scripture? Let's get the article. Let's get the article because I gotta go. We ain't gonna have no time. Let's go. Let's get that first article, and we're gonna see how the way our oppressor destroyed us.
Come. National Low Income Housing Coalition. Study examines man in the house rules in the voucher program.
Man in the house rules in the voucher program. Now this is something absolutely wicked, and it's hypocritical for our oppressors to put this on us. Right? So they're saying if you can't afford to house your family, we can help you, but first you're gonna have to get rid of that man. Just like we said, in order to spoil your house, in order to spoil a man's goods, you have to first bind the strong man. So they go into the weaker vessel according to the scripture. Don't feel no type of way. That's what the Most High says about our women. They're the weaker vessel, so they're going to them. And they say, hey, we can take care of you. Because a lot of times a woman gets with a man for the security of that the man provides. One of the aspects of that security is providing, housing. You know what I'm saying? One of the aspects. That's not all of it, all encompassing, but one of the aspects of it is that, a man can provide housing. And our oppressor says, well, we can provide you housing. All you got to do is get rid of this nigga. We don't like niggas in the house. So get rid of that nigga. Keep going.
I know with this article, I told you like the fifth paragraph is important, but I think the second one is also important.
Let's go to the second one then.
Concert. A long and paternalistic history of punitive regulations has dogged social welfare policy. A classic example of this is the man in the house rule enforced throughout the 1960s for welfare recipients.
Okay, so this was enforced in the 60s, but it's prevalent to today, right? Keep going.
Come. Including those in public housing. Man in the house rule sought to enforce social norms about who was morally deserving of welfare.
Morally, these niggas got the absolute goal to say that if we're morally deserving of this, are you serious? Who the hell are you? Bastard, who are you to say that we're morally deserving of it? You disgusting, vile, wicked, evil bastards. Morally, you have absolutely no right to be the judge and jury of morals. You are a wicked, disgusting, vile beast. This what do you call this river rat? This long-nosed swine river rat is controlling us. Are you goddamn serious? Keep reading before I get canceled.
God. Specifically, the rules prevented adult males from residing with mothers and children who received assistance.
So these niggas, Slaki, these people saying adult males. Now you hear that, right? Adult males. And this is specifically for public assistance housing. You know what I'm saying? Specifically for public assistance. It just says adult males. It doesn't say, black male. It doesn't say white male. But just like the justice system, there's two systems. There's for quote unquote niggas, spics, and savages, and there's a justice system for everybody else. There's a justice system. There's a code for public housing for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and there's a code for everybody else. Even though they just say for males, it's two different systems. Keep reading.
The rules sought to ensure only women with children who at the time were expected not to work benefited from welfare. Households with an adult male were viewed as undeserving of assistance because adult males were expected to provide for their families through work. Man in the house rules, enforced through highly invasive inspections, forced many families to choose between maintaining welfare supports and keeping their families intact.
Right. So and keeping their families intact. Now these bastards drove a wedge in between us by binding us, the strong man, and spoiling our goods. They went to our women and say, we'll take care of your housing. You will never have to worry about housing again. Just get rid of this nigga. Just get rid of this nigga. Now, what do you think when security is paramount when it comes to women? What do you think the women are going to do? They're going to go for that security. They're going to go for that security and the oppressor. And they're going to kick their man out the house. When Commander General Yahanna said this long ago, we don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house. That's how we get our nation back in order, back on track. That's one of the ways to get back on track. There's a long way we need to go with that, but that's one of the ways we can get back on track. Is there any more on that?
Slocky, if I could drop down to the fifth paragraph.
Go down to our fifth paragraph, and then we're going to get to the Hasidic Jews in New York.
Kerwin concludes that voucher regulations like crime and drug-free policies and bans on unauthorized residents can incentivize tenants to cut ties with family. In effect, these policies are a modern parallel of 1960s man in the house rules, that they represent an intrusion on the state into deeply personal family matters and create dilemmas in which tenants must choose between housing support and family ties.
So they gaslit saying, hey, well, if I had drug ties or whatever, you're gonna have to keep them out. When that had nothing to do with it, they just wanted a nigga out the house, right? Any more on that?
That's it, sir.
Give me the Jewish article. I want you to read that. Now we just read how the way they they demanded that the marriages in New York. Yes. We just read how the way they demanded that in order for you to get public assistance, you need to have the man out of the house. And they didn't specify what man. They just said you need to have the man out the house, right? Now, Joe Muhammad brought this out a while ago, a week or two ago, saying that the number one recipient of public assistance in housing in New York City, and this group is the largest in the actual nation, the country, is the Hasidic Jews. The Hasidic Jews are the number one recipient of public assistance housing in the country. Not only in New York, but in the country. Let's look at the marriage rate of the Jews in New York City. Why? Because according to this article that we read, in order for you to get public housing, the man has to be out the house. Now let's see if they're following by this rule. Let's see, because I could be wrong. Because every time I'm from New York, I know whenever I see these Hasidic Jews, they're always with their husband. You know what I'm saying? The women are always with their husband. They're the ones that they're getting the lion's share of the vouchers, not only in New York City but across the country. So they're getting the lion's share of it. We shouldn't be seeing them together like that, right? That's we shouldn't be seeing that. But let's see the rates of marriages in the Jewish community.
Come. Pew Research Center. PewResearch.org. Pew Research Center. Marriage, families, and children. About 2/3 of U.S. Jewish adults are either married, 59%, or living with a partner, 7%. Among those who are married, many have spouses who are not Jewish.
So right there, they're saying 2/3 are either married or they're and then there's another 7% that are still living together. 2/3. So if you line up 3 people, 2 of them are married. And they hold the most vouchers in the country. Get me, that's all I need for these bastards. Get me, no, we're going to another article. Get me, what is the marriage rate? Give me the marriage rate for blacks. And I think it shows you pre-civil rights and after civil rights, or from the 50s until it says 98 or something like that.
Marriage trends from 1890 to 2010.
All right, so we're going to see the marriage trends from 1890 up until 2010. This is a little while ago. Let's read the marriage rates and see how the way we're treated. And like I said, they put this in place during the 60s. What happened during the 60s? What was the hottest thing, the biggest trend going on in the 60s? Civil rights. Civil rights happened in the 60s. That what was going on. So we're going to see a trend that goes hand in hand with what the Bible has been telling us. The Bible told us we should separate. Martin Luther King said that we should integrate. Who should we listen to? Martin Luther King or the Most High? I'm going to do what the Bible tells us to do. Hold that. You don't believe me? Give me Zephaniah 2:1.
Oh, come.
Give me Zephaniah. You don't believe me. I'm gonna have to prove it to you. Bible tells us that we shouldn't mess with anybody else. Why? Because no one messes with us. So forget all these other nations, heathens, and we should only deal with each other. We have this notion of thinking that Balenciaga and Adidas made Kanye a billionaire, when in reality it was niggas that made him a billionaire.
That's right.
We made Adidas multi-billionaires. We made Balenciaga multi-billionaires. We did that, not them. No one was wearing them ugly ass Balenciaga. Yo, I saw them things. I thought they was Asics. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, them things are fugly. Like, why is niggas wearing this stuff? But we made it popular. We still make it popular. Them things are ugly.
Yes, they are.
Balenciaga, I'm like, you dead? You serious? Like, come on, man. I know we take something and then we put that junk, up there. But why we got to do that to Balenciaga? Like, for what? There's more stylish stuff out there than them ugly ass Balenciaga. Let's keep going. Salaki.
Salaki said it was like a feline boot. Took too far.
Yeah, come on, man. Seriously?
Salaki said.
Give me Zephaniah 2:1.
Come. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
So Esau, the Most High, is talking about the children of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians. He says, gather yourself together. Keep going.
Yea, gather together.
He said it twice. When he said it twice, he means like, yo, listen. Get together. And I'm dead ass when I'm saying this. Get together. Keep going.
Oh, nation, not desire.
No one wants to be a nigga until it's time to be a. Everybody wants to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga.
Right.
Everybody wants to be us until it's time to go through racism, until it's time to go through terrorism, until it's time enough to go to everything that we had to go. The time to go through lynching. You know what I'm saying? What is it called? Generational curses. Everybody wants to be us until it's time to be us. They don't want to go through everything that we had to go through to be us right here. So we are not a nation. We're a nation. We are a nation that is not desired. Everybody treats us like trash. All the other nations eat off of us and then look down on us like we are garbage. We are the ones that's lifting them up, sending their kids to these Ivy League schools, putting their kids and their families into these different high-rise buildings and these high-end, neighborhoods and stuff like that, and putting them into being doctors and lawyers and all this, and engineers and all that stuff. We're the ones doing that for you. And you have the nerve to look down on us? The scripture says we are the nation not desired. You have some?
Yeah, calm, sir. I just want to add a term, a new term, cancellation. Everybody want to be a nigga until they get canceled too.
Exactly. Let's keep going because we ain't gonna finish.
Calm. Oh, nation not desired. Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. Is that it?
Casa.
Let's get back to the article.
Casa.
Let's get back to the article.
This is Hoover Press. African American marriage patterns. In 1968, the Carter Commission declared that the United States was moving towards two societies, one black, one white, separate and unequal. Happily, many of the Commission's most distressing predictions have not come true. But with respect to marriage and child rearing, black and white Americans do live in substantially different worlds. Over the past 50 years, for all Americans, marriage rates have declined, while divorce rates and out-of-wedlock births have climbed. But the negative changes have been greatest among African Americans.
The negative changes have been greatest amongst us. You know what I'm saying? Marriages have declined, and divorces and separations have increased. But kids we have been more still reproducing when we didn't want to get married. Why is that? This happened since the civil rights, and if you don't know, I'm not even gonna bring that out. Let's keep going.
Come. The decline of marriage, non-marriage. Compared with white women, African American women are 25% less likely ever to have been married, and about half as likely to be currently married. So
compared to the oppressor, there's only about 25% of black women who will never be married, and of the women who will be married, only half of them will be currently married. Let's keep going.
Come. According to the Census Bureau current population survey in 1998, about 29% of African American women aged 15 and over were married with a spouse present.
Oh, how much?
About 29% of African American women aged 15 and over were married with a spouse present.
So only what 30? About, let's round it up. Let's give it 30%. Only 30% of our women are married currently. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Come.
That's a low ass number, yo. That's a low ass number. Keep going.
Come. Compared with about 55% of white women and 49% of Hispanic women.
Damn near double for our oppressor. Why is it that we're not marrying our women? Why is that? There's obvious reasons, you know what I'm saying? There's obvious reasons. We can blame it on society, but really, when I say society, I'm talking about the oppressor. The oppressor's ideology has been a cancer to the black and brown community. Where there was a time where at least the Hispanics were being married fairly young and staying married. You know what I'm saying? And staying married. Now they're, this society has been slowly leaking and poisoning them as well. They're still our people, and for us, it's been a poison to us, a cancer to us for far too long. We think because of stupidness, really, why we're getting married. And I want to tell you, the marriage rate right now in America is about 50%, or divorce rate is about 50%. It's about 50% that is the divorce rate in America. Amongst black people, it's higher. So almost 60 to 70% that we get divorced at. Moreover, 70 to 80% of those divorces are initiated by the woman. The woman are leaving. The women are getting a divorce. Hold this article and get me to the article where the number one, the top reasons for divorce in America. Anybody want to guess that? Real quick, type in the chat. Anybody want to guess the reasons why we get divorced? If you're paying attention, just type it in real quick before the brother gets this article. Type in the chat, what are the reasons that we get divorced? I want to see what the people got to say.
Concept.
Do you have that article?
Concept.
Okay. Type in the chat. I want to see what the people got to say. You ain't got to look it up. Just type it in. What do you think is the reason why people get divorced?
It's like it for me.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Ask the people, what's the reason why you stop being with your so-called boyfriend or girlfriend? Because sex is marriage. You just messed up.
No one wants to talk. Come on. I want to hear some of the reasons why people get divorced. And FYI, the same reason why people get divorced is the same reason why people break up. Whether they go in front of a preacher, a priest, or any other reason, they still break up. They dissolve that relationship for the same reasons. All right, we got a Dolphins last. He says money.
That's right.
He says money. Right. All right. Let's hold up. Hold your peace. What we're gonna do is we're gonna read this article. What we're gonna do is we're gonna read this article. Read that article, Baba Kashaw.
Come. From Clagnet and Barnett, attorneys at law. 10 leading causes of divorce in the United States. According to the American Psychological Association, about 90% of us get married before we turn 50. Some of those marriages go the distance, withstanding the test of time and flourishing for decades to come. Others fall upon rocky times. In fact, the APA notes what somewhat causes the divorce rate to be so high. There is no one answer to that question, where between 40% and 50% of marriages end in divorce. What causes the divorce rate to be so high? There is no one answer to that question. Indeed, there are a number of factors that can assail and ultimately undermine a marriage, sometimes leading to reconciliation, but sometimes ending in a marriage dissolution.
Right. Sometimes you can actually reconcile, depending on what it is. According to the Bible, there's only one reason why a man should separate from a woman, or a woman should separate from a man. There's only one reason. And even in the vows that the West say, what is the reason to have the marriage dissolve?
Adultery, sir.
According to the West, what is the reason to have a marriage dissolve? In the vows.
Oh, till death do you part.
Till death do you part. Someone got to go. Someone got to die. What's the penalty of adultery?
Death.
Someone got to go. Someone got to die. That is the only acceptable reason, according to the Most High God, that He would accept a dissolution of marriage. Someone's dead. That's it. That is it. That's even in the vows. People say, for rich or for poor, through sickness and health, for better or worse, till death do us part. And when they asked them for why they got a divorce, what's the number one reason?
Marital infidelity.
Marital infidelity. Now, what in the hell is marital infidelity? Marital infidelity. I mean, someone stepped out. Infidelity. You know what? They took that. I see how sly these bastards are. I see how sly these bastards are. I just picked that up. It used to be because of adultery. But they can't say adultery because they know, believe it or not, the oppressor knows the law. Knows the law.
That's right.
And according to the law, adultery is not what we think adultery is. Adultery is not what we think adultery is. Because we think if a man, goes out and finds another woman, that he's committing adultery. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what the Bible says. We gotta go. I ain't got time. But the number one reason is marital infidelity. When in reality, 9 times out of 10, he got himself another woman. That quote unquote side piece he had for 3-4 years. That ain't no side piece. That's a woman he's had a deep emotional relationship with. That's what that is. You may not like it, you may not understand it. But let's get the scripture what adultery is. Leviticus 12 and 10, I want to say. 20 and 10. Leviticus 20 and 10. Real quick. Because this is what adultery is.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. And the man that committeth adultery.
So a man that commits adultery, because a man can commit adultery. It's not just, with the woman. A man that committed adultery, continue.
With another man's wife.
With another man's wife. Not another woman. Not a husband sleeping with another woman. Is a man that's sleeping with someone who has a title of wife. Keep going.
Even he.
Yeah, keep going.
Even he that committeth adultery.
Even he that lies with another man's woman. Keep going.
With his neighbor's wife.
Right.
The adulterer.
The man.
And the adulteress.
And the woman.
Shall surely be put to death.
Shall surely be put to death. So a man, whether he's married or not, that doesn't say in the scripture. A man that sleeps with a woman that has a title of wife. That is adultery. That man committed adultery and that woman committed adultery. That is the only reason for separation, as they speak. That's the only reason that is authorized according to the Most High God for separation. That's it. If a man decides he wants to get another woman, he is well within his rights according to the scripture. That other woman that he decides to get cannot be married. Cannot be married. Cannot be a woman that is married. Now, what is marriage? Sex is marriage. Sex is marriage. So if you laying with somebody, whether you went in front of a priest or a pastor or whatever and said your I do's and whatnot, that's irrelevant. According to the Most High God, that is your husband. That is your husband. How long? Forever. Forever. And our households have been breaking up because a man got another woman. According to that, that's one of the top reasons. The number 2 reason is if you read this article yourself, is for money issues. So you saying if the man loses his job, and we're about to come upon a recession here real soon, niggas getting laid off as we speak. I'm telling you right now, it's happening. That doesn't mean you should divorce your husband. That has no real. What you should do is get counsel. That's what you should do. Right. You should get counsel on how to move forward. Not divorce your husband. Not now. Now you are a single mother. Now you're gonna have to depend on another man. You're gonna have to bring another man into your home, not knowing what the hell he's in for. You're not knowing what the hell he's about. Not knowing what the hell he can potentially do to your kids when you are not around. And a lot of times, stuff like that does happen, the mother knows. and she's bound because, quote unquote, she's not really bound, but she's bound because she does not have she cannot pay his half of the rent. So you kicked out the man, your husband. You kicked him out because he had another woman, and you brought in another man, and you did not kick him out because he had another woman, which is your kid, because he's paying half of the rent.
So I can instead of bound, can you use restricted?
What do you mean?
That she's restricted from even doing anything because she has no power.
No, she ain't restricted. She wasn't restricted when she kicked that man out the house. She wasn't bound when she had that other, when she had the man in the house and he went and got himself another woman, but he was taking care of her. She wasn't bound then. So why is she bound now? Why is that? Why is that now? I'm not giving them no no. She is wicked, and that woman is wicked. That woman is disgusting. And she brought hell. She brought a demon into her house and destroyed her children's lives. Why? Because society told her that he was only supposed to be with her. When what the man should have done was like, hey, I got another woman. Yeah, I got another one. I'm taking care of her as well. She is my wife, and you are my wife. I love her and I love you. And we are going to work together to build our families. But man, he's bound because he can't tell his woman that he has a side piece. He can't tell. And when she finds out, she goes all ballistic and she kicks him out and she invites the demon in and destroys the house even further. Destroys the house even further. But none of us know this. And tell me if I'm wrong. How many people are out there that knows a story like this or has been a part of this story like this? I'm not telling you something that you don't know. I'm not telling something that you don't understand, that you cannot fathom. This goes on in our community far too often. And the only way we're going to get our community up out of this is if we follow the Most High's laws, Most High God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Follow the man who he put in charge, which is Commanding General Yahanna, and obey. Submit to him the way we submit unto the Most High. And we obey him the law that the Most High has put in place, and we will. If you keep reading these articles, man, it'll show you that black women are married like 30%. They're married at like 30%, whereas the oppressor is married at damn near 60%. And in the past like 10, 15 years, it only went down 10%, 13% for the oppressor, and it halved for us. If you understand that, and that's because of they use women's lib and all this stuff to hold us to tell us, our women, that they don't need us, when the oppressor is using that to get their foot in the door, and they're not even buying into all that crap, that nonsense. They're still getting married, they're still having children with their husbands. But us, we ate that up, hook, line, and sinker, and we since then have been destroyed even more. That is not the first time we've been, they put crafty counsel against us, but they have definitely put crafty counsel against us. And I gotta go. I had so much more. I had so much fun. I knew we were gonna go over time, but with that, I'm gonna have to pass the class over to Priest and Officer Picado.
I.S.U.P.K. security announcements. We're the I.S.U.P.K. out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They're here to share themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After the 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy convocation, the feast of dedication, Hanukkah, the 25th day of the 9th month, by the space of 8 days. That's Saturday, the 17th of December, 2022. You can find this in the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verses 52, verses through 61. Remind Akim and Akwathian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you should start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband, or scarf. And with that, I say Ahmadium, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Ahmadium Shabbat, Ahmadium, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat Katah,
Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shabbat Katah.
Yahweh Matah, class dismissed.